everybody, and welcome to episode 118 of the Hunger for the Hustle podcast. This little lady right in front of me is not only a friend of mine for as many years as I can't remember right now, lots, like at least 15, maybe 20. Sian Danielle is not only a very cool person to call my friend, but a permanent makeup artist, and has been since 2014. And actually, we were just saying before we came on, makes me even more interested to talk about it, because like your friends, even your best friends, until they use your services or product, you don't really ever see them at work. Yeah. And here we are in your place of work. You are in your scruffs. Do you call them scruffs? Is that
scrubs?
Scrubs. Sorry for anyone that wears scrubs. Yeah. So it's cool. It's cool to see you here in your work outfit, in your workplace. Thank you. And spend this 40 minutes an hour to learn a bit more about what you do, how you started to do it, what got you into it, and where the beautiful, wonderful journey, as I hope it is, has led to right now.
Yeah.
So let's go back to 2014. I believe I'm going to tell my version of the story and probably mess it up and let you tell it better because it's your stories. It's usually what I do on the show, as you probably know if you've watched before. So 2014, you've kind of like not long out of uni, kind of finished uni.
Yeah.
Did uni in something completely different, didn't you?
Completely different.
Yeah. Irrelevant. And then I remember you was talking about, and you're like, I'm going to do this course. I think it's something that's like big and growing, and it has grown phenomenally since the industry has like been, in terms of kind of that realm of like, it's kind of like, it's not beauty at its core, but it's in that kind of like, you know, personal care, personal treatment kind of thing. And it's probably just, as well, from the outside looking in, obviously you know a lot more, it's probably the industry that's grown the most in that time. So you got in at just the right time. But what inspired you, or kind of like led you to getting into it and doing the training?
I've always been intrigued by permanent makeup because I initially had my eyebrows done, and that's where it started. So I was just interested in everything that was going on behind the scenes, really. And the person that was doing my treatments was one of my best friend's sisters. So she's got her own training academy down south, and she's always sort of said, oh, you know, you'd be really good at it, you just think about training, and the seed was kind of planted then. So from then on, it was just always on my mind. Can I do it? Is my finances straight? What should I do? Should I invest in myself? So yeah, I took the plunge, did it, and I love it. And I still love it now. So
that's the main thing, right? That's the thing. It doesn't matter what you do, as long as you love it and you continue to love it.
I do, yeah. My passion keeps growing for it, really.
Yeah.
There's always things changing, so it keeps me on my toes.
Yeah, I mean, there's always new things coming up. I mean, there's new things that I've seen you do that you didn't used to do. Like, it was like the Areola things, which is a big part of what you do now, which you kind of moved into as things have grown. But what from the start, did you know, was it kind of part of the program, like the platform of the blueprint, if you will, of the course, that you do this and then you start your own business doing it? Or did it just equip you with the skills to perhaps either start your own business or go and work for someone else in the same?
So you've got options to do both, really. I did my training, but I sort of planned how I was going to work it by working for myself. So I had everything kind of written up. I was also working full time at the time. So instead of taking the plunge to just work for myself, I built up everything in the background. So I worked every evening till midnight, worked both the days and the weekend. I was really busy. And then just something had to give at some point, and it had to be my full-time job because I just loved doing this more, had more opportunity to work for myself and have my own time. And so I slowly transitioned. I built up my client base. So I knew the stability was there, and then I eventually asked work if I could go part-time. They said yes, but instead of doing that, I went, do you know what, I can't even do part-time. I'm just going to give it my all, give it some welly.
What else are you doing?
Change over. I ran a gym and a spa. Yeah, and I was working quite
I
a
was
lot
asking
with
because I
different,
forgot.
yeah, different
Right,
people,
right.
different medical backgrounds. So
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
really interesting. I loved my job. Yeah, I loved where I worked, but it's something I had to give, and this is what my passion was. So
Yeah,
I just went in that direction.
Yeah, it's kind of a relatable thing, isn't it? Like going from the spa to the treatment here.
Yeah,
Like,
just working with people.
Yeah.
I think that's a massive part of work, really. Obviously, there's the arty side of it, the being creative and doing everything, but you still have clients, you've still got to be likable, you've still got to have that kind of relationship with them for them to trust you. So yeah, that was a massive part of it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it does help being a people's person or having good people skills.
Yeah.
You know, because I remember some of the people that come and see you might be nervous at the end of the day. It's a treatment that's
definitely. A lot of people come in like that. Yeah.
I mean, is it painful? I've never had it done.
It's not, no.
It's
Yeah,
not,
a lot of people think it is.
Yeah.
Some people have different pain thresholds,
Of course,
but it's never like people come in almost like, oh my god, do I need to take paracetamol? Do I need to deal with this? It's fine. People lie down and they're like, oh, I could go to sleep. This is really relaxing. So it's a nice.
And part of it is like you being the people's person, understanding that energy from them that might be a bit nervous coming in, and just remaining calm and chilled yourself. Yeah. So then they are too.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Which is like
as you well know, I'm a chatterbox, so
I
can talk people to death, and everything changes around.
It's like someone said to me once. Someone said to me, "You could talk the hinges off a door."
Oh yeah,
like, I'll take that.
We could be here for hours.
Yeah, we could. Yeah, exactly right. So you had the authentic and organic journey that actually I did myself, and that I think a lot of people do.
Yeah.
Which, it was evenings, weekends, not evenings, like mornings. It's almost any hours you can to build the side hustle. And I guess you were just doing treatments at that level, probably more at evenings and weekends, and just kind of not really having much time for your own social calendar, but your work calendar was absolutely full.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so how long from the training, 2014, until you went, no, I'm going full time, I'm doing this full time, I'm throwing myself all into it?
It was in the same year, so.
Oh really? So it wasn't that long at all?
No, so it was a few months after, really. As soon as I'd done my training, case studies, everything like that, I just gave it my all. And like you said before, the industry hadn't boomed as much then, so I've kind of rode the wave early on, which I'm really, really grateful for. Not that there isn't room for new people in now, that there is. There's always room because.
It's growing industry.
Personal care, it's always something that you need to have done, not regularly, but people look after themselves so much now that industry is growing like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah.
But I got on it early, and the advertising, people hadn't heard of it. So as soon as I put things on, they were like, "Oh, I'm intrigued about this treatment. What is it?" And it just went from there. So luckily, I got my name out there early doors.
So it was almost like the perfect storm. What age were you at this time? You'd have been like late 20s, 20.
No good.
20. Well, it was 20,
about 24.
2018, 2019. Yeah, so you're like 24. So you're kind of late to mid 20s. So I mean, it's the perfect storm of the industry growing and going well, you getting on it at the right time in terms of the it becoming more known about. And probably I think, a lot of your friends and my friends, people coming to that age kind of mid, late 20s where they have a bit more disposable cash, they've had a career for a while and they can afford to spend, extra money on themselves, essentially. It's no more complicated than
definitely.
That. And have some more, whether you regard it's like a luxury treatment or it's just, I guess, once you start having it, it's just something you continue to have. Because it's not particularly expensive, is it, in terms of
not for the long
beauty
term,
treatments?
But so beauty treatments, people spend a hell of a lot on themselves.
And every week,
let's talk about hairdressing, highlights, colour, cuts. People are going there, every 6 weeks. So they're spending so much over the year, whereas this is something you need doing maybe a year and a half a year and a half on. So the cost effective, you're paying loads of money for makeup. So once you have this treatment done, you then don't need to buy all the conventional makeup that's on the shelves really. So you're actually saving yourself time and money.
Well, I only wear makeup on a Friday, so my makeup bill's not so heavy.
Full work.
Don't tell them. That's funny. So really, you got into it really quick, And was that the core of your client base was built up through people you already knew to start with?
Yes and no.
Really?
Only a few people, to be honest, that I knew initially. Advertising. Again, social media has kind of started that as well. So advertising was fresh.
Yeah.
You put a post on, tag someone in it, everyone was keen for Facebook, and it just spread like wildfire, really. So someone's had it done, and it's word of mouth as well.
Yeah.
One person has it done, they recommend it, they see it. It's such a visual treatment. It's on someone's face, so as soon as you see someone, go, oh, that's quite nice.
Yeah, it quite literally sells itself.
It does, yeah. So.
No, and you're right there. You know, coming from my perspective of definitely being in social media and I've just been really kind of studying a year then on social media, and it was definitely paid was a lot cheaper, and organic was a lot more effective.
Yeah,
really.
Definitely.
You know, there weren't so many people fighting, so many eyes fighting.
So many platforms of social media. It was quite channeled then. You know, there was just Facebook,
really,
just Instagram. That was it.
Yeah.
No stories, no reels,
no
faffing.
It was a lot easier to manage, wasn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
So of course yours is very visual. Naturally, I'd think that the most place where you get the most growth and engagement would be Instagram. Would that be right?
Facebook still up there, yeah. Purely because of the tagging side of things.
Right.
You know, so people see your Instagram. Don't get me wrong, I do get a lot of work through Instagram because, like you say, it's visual and people spend a lot of time on there really over anything else. But Facebook is the tagging side of it was what worked initially. You know, someone tags you in it or you tag them in it, suddenly your audience grows. So it's not just the people who follow you, it's the people who follow them. So, that's how it kind of carried on, really.
And do you think there's a more, it's fair to say there's an older demographic on Facebook. There's multiple reasons for that. Some of them is just that people joined Facebook in 2011, 2012 and they've got a bit older now. So, you know, they're just older people. Or there's some people who still like to use the platform who perhaps are a bit older. Not saying that the demographic on Instagram, on other platforms, TikTok and stuff, isn't older as well. But is your client base like more towards the older range, or is it just across the board?
It's really mixed.
Yeah,
a lot of people say, "Oh, you know, I think I'm a bit old for this." I'm like, absolutely not.
No.
Some of my
never told to look good.
No, some of my eldest clients are like 89.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you know, there's different reasons for permanent makeup as well.
Right. Is there a minimum age like it is with tattoos? Is it 18?
Yeah.
Okay.
18. So you have to be 18 for it. Just for insurance purposes, so same as tattooing. But full age range really. But there's different reasons. People don't just need to look good. They might have alopecia, they might have hair thinning, they might have overplucked, which was massive in kind of the era when I was younger. People overplucked and their hair never grew back. So
really?
Yeah, so a lot of people, it was really fashionable to have that really thin eyebrow.
Yeah.
And that was it then. And now it's fashionable to have it a little bit fuller. So they're like, how do I get this? And here are all your answers.
It's really interesting, isn't it? Because like those trends change. Obviously, it's not something as a manual or as a cross.
Yeah.
Really, particularly if they're women's changes and trends as well. But I imagine that works pretty well for you because let's say someone has their brows done, the style changes, they come back. As you said, it was 18 months.
Yeah.
So is at that point, can you change your style in that period, or is it like a top up on what you've already had?
Either.
Yeah, either. So you can really, and that's about the kind of trend, like
following
seasonal, but it's usually like things like 12 to 18 months.
Yeah, so you can mix it up for sure. Yeah, let your treatment fade out and change it.
So you've got the eyes, you've got the lips, and like lips, is it that it's I mean, the pattern and shape of the way that people have the lips doesn't change, does it? They always have the same.
Yeah,
I'm a complete amateur in this. I think it's really helpful for anyone watching that might be to...
it follows your natural lip line. You can only go so far out of the border.
Okay.
But obviously not far at all. Like literally an needle depth thicker than your natural lips. A lot of people's lips naturally fade on the outside. So a lot of the colour is in their belly of their lips fading outwards. So we're bringing the colour outwards, fading inwards, as if you were makeup.
Okay.
Lipstick,
So it's like
no smudging.
So it's working with what you've got, but it's kind of revitalising it.
Making it look better.
Yeah.
Adding the colour.
Awesome. Now, and then I say this word slowly because I kept messing it up earlier when you taught me how to say it. Areola.
That's the one.
3D areola. So that's basically, and it's not exclusively for, I was doing a bit of reading earlier, it's not just, although it is a lot for people, ladies who have breast cancer, maybe a full or partial mastectomy, and that it's to kind of give that the look of the nipple, the 3D. You can create it amazes me some of the pictures I've seen, like the texture. It looks completely 3D. Of course, to the touch, it's flat, but it's not exclusively just for ladies, or I suppose men get breast cancer as well.
Yeah.
Not at such a rate, I don't think, but they do. It's not just for that though, is it? It can be scars, it can be burns, it can be people who are changing their genes, you know what I mean, doing that kind of stuff. So it's like, I guess it's the core of what you do in that is for people who have had breast cancer, or is it is?
Yeah. People as well could be conscious of nipples being too small, too big, you know, things like that. So they might want to change the shape of it, or a slight, you know, dip in it. Some people might want a heart, you know. But
okay, you get fancy with it.
You can get fancy. Nice. Not that that's a common thing to do.
No. But anything's kind of possible in it, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's, I suppose, really, it's art, you know.
Yeah.
And you are the artist, and people can have whatever they want. Not even within reason, you can have what you like, you know. The wilder the better, maybe. But and I know that you do something very common, which is you obviously it's a paid clinic generally, but you do I believe, is it one slot a month, or is it one slot a month that you offer for free? Which I think is fantastic. You know, I'll try and do as much when I can for charity, not for that's charitable, I should say, not charity, but that's charitable and kind of a way to give back. You know, and I like the way that you found a way to do that within what you do. You know, and that's probably helps a lot of people out.
Oh, for sure, it's a really, really rewarding treatment. So to have the skills to do what I do, and then I've always been trained to do the areola, because years ago when I first started, I did actually train in medical tattooing as well, so burn, scars, cleft lip, areola. But I never really pushed that side of it, because the makeup side was so popular. I kind of had to master one thing first before I went into it with everything else. But I really enjoyed doing the areola years ago. So I just wanted to take that back up again, really. So I did my research, trained with like the best person in the UK that I rate. Just did a refresher, really. Brought all the new techniques back in, and I love doing it. I love it. And I think if you can give something back, you know, it's not affecting my business, it's helping everyone else out. Everyone's affected by someone with cancer, unfortunately. So it's just to give a little back. You know, it's a lovely feeling, regardless, with the makeup side that I do, to empower women, make them, and men, but make them walk out this room feeling lovely. And to do that with body parts as well. And a lot of them have been on such a huge journey from start to finish of having cancer, that to make them feel complete at the end of it. You know, they might have had reconstruction, so they've got really good boobs, but they might just need that final piece of the puzzle, really. And
and you made a really difference. Good thing to do, that lasting difference in people's lives, which is, it's funny, isn't it? You know, I look at my business, which is completely a world apart from yours, but it's what difference I'm actually making to people's lives with this, you know, product or service. And when you actually break it down and look at it, you know, anything that either saves people time, effort, and energy, you know, which is kind of the thing that I do, the value in that. But in yours, it's actually, you know, it might be even a slight to the outside looking in, but to the person who's looking in the mirror every day, a huge change.
Oh, massive.
You know, because it's the way you look at and perceive yourself, and the way, you know, you can take the smallest thing and to you it's really big. Oh yeah. And you mentioned someone else, and I'm like, I didn't even notice.
Yeah, even if you've got a spot on your face.
Exactly.
Okay, right, lovely one this morning.
And
it still makes you feel
always happens on like a day that you're going to be on a show or something like that, doesn't it? So you know, you're impacting people's lives there, and you know, it's a great thing to do. Yeah. You should be, of course, very proud of that, and it's nice to do, of course, a job that fulfills you in that way, recharges your batteries up a little bit.
It just brings you back down to earth, you know. These people have been through so much, and they're amazing people, you know, and they're so happy and overwhelmed, and they get emotional, and I get emotional, and it's lovely. I love it.
That's great.
So it's a good feeling.
Yeah. So you brought a whole other avenue and like arm into the business with the Areola.
Yeah.
Now, randomly, we haven't talked about this before, but I'd be interested to know about this. So I've got some friends that have had it.
Yes.
I always have to remember to try and talk slowly on the podcast, because I talk so fast and everything gets out of. No one can understand what I say.
It's exciting.
It is. That is why I talk fast, because I'm excited, and I'm excited to talk to you. Hair replacement or hair tattooing.
Yes.
That's the thing. I know a few of my friends have had it done. Is that something you do or you might do in the future, or not?
I've looked at doing it potentially. So the skills can be crossed over, the machines can be crossed over. Obviously, you know a lot about the base of pigment, skin, like, so the ground kind of theory and everything is already there. But I have looked into doing it. It is something I potentially will do in the future because it's getting big now.
It is.
A lot of people need it. So potentially that is something that I need to look into. But it's finding and researching the best people to train with. Right. So that you learn the best.
And you mentioned that earlier, that you went back into training when you had the Areola training, and you went with someone that you regarded to be the best. Who was that person? Calla.
Yeah,
okay.
She is amazing.
Yeah.
She does it all the time, and she's really, really nice to learn from. So.
Was she the same person you taught from at the start?
No. So I've trained with so many different people.
Right, okay.
Yeah, you can't ever stop learning. So I'd still put myself on courses now and find someone because it is an art. You find someone's work that intrigues you and that is amazing, and you think, I need to have a little bit of that. How are they doing things differently to me? You know, what techniques are they different, like changing? It can be something so slight that you learn from training. It can just change your work.
Right.
And it's always good to keep up with it because, like you said, things change all the time. Fashions change.
Yeah.
Techniques change. Pigments change. Needles change. Like everything is changing all the time. Because the industry is so big, people are always pushing something new out there, and you've just got to keep up with it, really. Keep up to date. You know, not get left behind. But you want to do it because you're doing it every day and it is your passion. You're almost like painting something. I know I can get this better. I'm going to learn how to get it better. So that is, you never stop learning, and it is always good to do research before you do training, because jumping into someone and think, actually, I didn't really like their work, why am I even training with them, is not a good thing to do.
No. So I mean, that would be finding quite a balance within that, though. You know, I know how busy you are. You know how busy you are with your schedule at the moment. You know, it's one that you've taken some time off, had a second child, which is one of the beauties of working for yourself, isn't it? Just being able to do that and kind of take as long or as little as you want to let that play out. So, but I know outside of this time, you know, and I'm sure your diary's getting stacked, but when people probably already ask you when you're going back.
Yeah.
But like knowing that, look, I need to stay on top of this, keep at the top of my game. I regard you to be at the top of your game. I think that's fair to say. They might have awards you've won. You know, but keeping on top of that and keeping on top of these new materials, technologies, trends, like going, look, I need to take so much time with Ori to do that, and like having the intuition and the foresight and the humility to go, look, I always need to keep learning, and that is almost, if not as much important as fitting everyone in. You know, the cash that earns great, but like the synergy of the two things. And all the other things you have to do as a business owner. You know, anyone who's watching who knows who does do it at any level, there's a lot there, isn't there?
There's so much behind the scenes. I think that's the real struggle with business, is the fact that you've got to be on top of everything. You know, I would love to just turn up to work, which is something that I'm looking at doing in the future if I take more people on in the future. Is to have the time, because there's social media, there's advertising, there's booking people in, there's getting back to people, there's patch testing, there's stock checks, there's so much behind the scenes that you have to do then on top of your practical side of everything. But it's just juggling it all. But juggling it all is working so far.
Yeah, great. Keeping the plate spinning.
Yeah.
So, like wins and challenges, it's something I always like to talk about as, like, you know, the journey of, and we kind of highlighted it there, you know, managing all the things can be stressful, and keeping all of them going at the same time. Just trying to literally keep the plate spinning in the air. But, you know, were there some like particular times when you think back of your 8-year journey as a permanent makeup artist and business owner so far, that you're like, oh, that was a really tough time, you know, like to the point where you're like, you know, have you ever thought, like, you've gone through such a challenge? I know I have in my business. I'm like, do I want to do this anymore? It's actually like, this is really hard, and I'm not sure if I can get through it and carry on doing it. Or if the business is going to like survive.
Touch wood, I've been really lucky with my clients. That I have not really come away from a day of work being like, gosh, I want to do this.
Yeah, you know, fantastic.
all the positives outweigh anything that's negative.
Yes.
Probably a bad time was the fact that COVID hit. It was fine for my business, but obviously everyone couldn't work, which was not enjoyable. I do love to do what I do. But we were always the industry that was the first to close, last to open.
Of course, yeah.
So that took a huge hit, and everyone was just kind of waiting the sidelines. But you've just got to use your time wisely. I was lucky enough that, you know, my partner was working all the way through it from home, so I didn't have to worry too much financially. Obviously, everything took a hit, but I used the time. I wrote a training manual. I did some courses. I learnt more. I couldn't have got through it if I didn't do that work-wise. But yeah, that was tough, really, not having a structure to your day, which everyone normally doesn't want. But to not have it was like, what am I going to do? I'm waking up a little bit later. My days are wasted. So that was tough, but it got turned around. So
no, it's interesting. You kind of did to a degree what I did, which was all right. Let's use this time to cross some of those things off the list that I've been meaning to do.
That you don't have the time to do. Which
what strings can I add to my bow?
Yeah,
I mean, it's really funny actually now having this conversation that this podcast and the reason we're sat here wouldn't even, from my side, wouldn't exist if it wasn't for COVID. And me thinking, I like talking. I talk to other people about business, and that might help other people. You know, so it's like when you align. Going back to picking out what we said earlier, like when you align kind of your values and the reason that you like to do things, and then your business as well up with those. I think you got like the perfect setup there to have. And I think using your any quiet time that we had with COVID. I don't like to use the C word on this podcast, but we've dropped it a couple of times. That's fine. You're like, I didn't know I swore. So you know, using that time to learn, you know, not to. I don't know. It was a difficult time for a lot of people. Not taking, making light of that or taking anything away from it. But you can use it to learn more. Strings to your bow.
Definitely. It was a horrendous time. You know, it was affected within our family and a very, very, very tragic time. Which I don't like to talk about. So, but yeah, business-wise, it was, I suppose, tough because it was. Every time there was a news announcement, there was a tease of coming back to work. That was shattered, and it was again and again. So you were just constantly setting things up and then thinking, oh, it's going to cancel everything again. So it was stressful, but it's been worth it because more things have come out of it, really. Yeah,
that's it. And also, you know, business still going, flowing, going good. You can't, people can't, they could go, because everything was shut down, no one could go to get a treatment anywhere else, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
They could, they could go and book in with someone different.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, why go anywhere else but the best? That's me speaking, not Sean. Yeah, her head's not that big. But you know what I mean? It's everything is shut down. So it's kind of like, right, let's learn. People are going to be back.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like people are going somewhere else to get it done instead of you. Because really no one else
is
doing
competition.
No.
Yeah.
No. So that kind of, you know, highlights the challenges there, like the most difficult period of the time. But what about wins? And I know you've got a fair few awards under your belt.
Yes.
Yeah. And you know, what was that something that was started from early on?
So I got involved in a couple of conferences, which is specific to permanent makeup. So it's not just like a broad thing. It was to do with your work and other artists judging it with top artists. And I got into that, and I loved it, and I did really well. So I was really proud of that, and that just gave me the buzz to carry on doing awards and entering these things. So a mixture of them. Somewhere my clients have voted for things, somewhere judging panel worldwide has voted for things. I actually got involved with the Great British Entrepreneur Awards. I think I said that right. But that was really good. Went to once everything had reopened, there was a big get together and event in London. So that was really good fun. Nice to dress up, get involved, and so many different businesses there as well, from all different backgrounds and things. And so that was really good.
Yeah.
But quite a broad things. But another win of mine is recently I've been asked to be on the Pro Team for Tina Davis, which is
Tina Davis Pro Team. But no, we said that's a big thing, though, right?
It's a big thing.
I know the value and the kind of it's quite prestige, you know. It's not anyone gets those kind of invites. So.
Yeah, so that's really good and really exciting. So she is massively known worldwide to use her products. So it's nice to be a bit of an ambassador for her and push them really and get involved with everyone else worldwide who's been asked to do it. So yeah, that's a really nice highlight of this year. So
yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
it's good. It's come up a few times, and I know you as a person, you're a very sociable person, like to talk like me, like we already said. But you know, you've surrounded yourself there time and time again. You know, whether it is, you know, working towards something that might be getting nominated for an award, or it's just with the Great British Entrepreneur Scheme. You know, but it's surrounding yourself with those like-minded people, whether they are directly or indirectly related to your industry. How important do you think that is, like as a business owner, to do that?
I think it's really important. I think it's good to you get a fire in your belly when you hear other people talking and are passionate about things. You know, a lot of our friends are doing things. A lot of people, a lot of family members are kind of on that path really. And you just learn little bits from little people, and you know, you can all help each other as much as you do completely different things. You know, you sat down with me before and helped me with some kind of Facebook thing, and you know, different social media things. Again, there's so much to learn all the time, and when someone else has got a drive for it, you kind of get that. I need to do something about it as well. So yeah, it is infectious. Yeah, that's the right word for it. So yeah, I think it's really important.
Yeah, I do as well. I think like surrounding yourself. Because can be quite lonely. We talked about this before, right? Can be quite lonely when like all your friends are working, you know, 10 to 4, 9 to 5, whatever it is, and you're like, I've got to work till whenever o'clock tonight to get this done because I've finished the normal X, Y, Z, but you know, all the other stuff's got to be done, all the admin and stuff, and you're like, it can get so surrounding yourself with people that do get that, you know, do understand it. Not saying that your friends don't, I'm sure they're nice. But you know, it's you got to. I think it's really important to surround yourself with people doing something. I never really thought about it, but from that perspective of getting inspiration, putting that fire back in your belly, you know, sometimes you can get a little bit stuck in the mud of doing the same thing again and again. Do you think you were inspired by like? Do you think you're always someone that was going to have your own business, or could you also happily see yourself working for someone else? Because it just seemed like it kind of naturally went that way, right? It didn't seem like that was a certain firm choice you've made.
I wasn't like, I need my own business, but I've always had a bit of a drive to kind of chase things. I'm quite competitive. Don't ever play a game of Monopoly with me.
Okay.
I
don't think I have, but good warning.
Yeah, so I am really competitive. So I think if you get into anything, you instantly just want to think, maybe this is better, and what can I do next? So, yeah, I think maybe I would have always done something. I don't know what else it would have been, but probably.
Yeah. Because I know you like. I always think, you know, how inspired are people by their peers, their friends, their parents as well. You know, I know your dad always had his own thing for a long time. So I think, I know my parents did too.
Yeah.
So I think it's like. You do get a little bit
you see it,
or led by that as well, a little bit, you know.
For sure.
And you're like, they can do that. Or they, you know, they can run their own schedule, or they can have the freedom to go, you know, I want to do this instead of that, and I think that's something that's
taking risks. You've got to take a risk in it.
Yeah. So you think you're someone who takes risks?
Calculated risks.
Yeah, calculated risks. That's right. Yeah.
But you need to make a jump somewhere along the line. But I was just in a good place to do that, really, because I was still young. I didn't have too much, you know, hanging over me to do that. And also, like you say, building up work before I took the leap to quit. So that was there in the background, so that I knew I was always making a wage. And then when it was ready to take the risk and leap over to do it by myself, so calculated.
And how much more challenging has it got now you've got kids?
More challenging, for sure.
Of course.
It's just time, really.
Yeah. Just managing the time better.
Just managing time. You know, you just got to be very organised, even more so. Scheduling, working to your diary, really. Like your admin, your social media. You have to be like, right, I'm going to do this Tuesday at this time, or I'm going to make sure I come to work an hour earlier and get some stuff done. You can't just be like, I'll just do it later, because there is no later, really.
No.
But yeah, it's working.
Yeah. No, that's good.
okay.
Yeah, it's still relatively new, isn't it?
Yes.
As well, so I'm sure like most things you'll figure it out and smash it.
Okay.
So let's go. Let's go into where are we at now? I think we are 34 kind of minutes in. We're at a good time to kind of let's go to the future of Sian Danielle, permanent makeup artistry. It's a good. It's also really, before we get into that, like I love the way you just used your name as a brand. It's just like it works, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it makes things a lot easier as well.
Yeah.
Instead of having to create some kind of subsidiary brand and brand name and thing around that. It's just like, this is me. It keeps it quite authentic as well, and quite simple as well. I think people need that authenticness from you. You're doing work on the face or anywhere on the body, some parts, like private body parts, you know what I mean? So it's like taking down that barrier to start and going like, this is my business.
This is who I am.
And you're the first person I'll deal with. And you probably will be, the last as well. Who knows in the future? I think it might change. But create that personability. Yeah. And I think that's important, and you've done it well there. Thanks. But going forward, I just kind of stumbled into that. But going forward, where do you see yourself? Where do you see the business in the next kind of? I think it's got quite difficult now to look at your business in the longer term, but I like to look at it in kind of a year to 2 year stretches. I know you've got quite a lot of things going on for the future. Yeah.
So obviously I've done my training, teacher training. So I'm qualified to teach. Mm-hmm. So
is that
is exciting.
Teacher training in like specialist to what you do, or just a regular teacher training?
So I've got qualification, just teaching qualification, which you have to have to get insured to teach permanent makeup as well. So that, along with all the training that I've done together, my insurance, everything that goes with it, I am a qualified, an accredited trainer now. So that's exciting. So that's really exciting. I train in all areas of the makeup side. Ideally, maybe looking going into the areola at a later stage. Mm-hmm. So that ideally want to boom that, make that bigger. When everything grows, obviously, what I would love in the future is to have staff.
Yeah. Don't be afraid to say it, it's fine.
I know. Juggling it around makes me nervous. I'm really interested in other people.
Yeah. It took me about 5 or 6 years to start getting staff. So finally,
it just
I can do it all myself.
Time. Again, the biggest challenge is time, because there's so much to do now behind the scenes that, whether that staff just needs someone part-time to help me with the admin side of it, to advertise, social media king, queen, help me out. So that's the side that I see it going, and then I can spend more time on the things that I need to do.
Yeah. So essentially that kind of
place to grow.
Yeah, that kind of organic growth, and perhaps that might involve more staff.
Yeah.
Might involve more things on the training side, but either way, it's very exciting, isn't it? Because I think whatever way in which you do that, you're helping more people. If you go down the training route, you're training more people to do it, and they're going to help other people. So therefore, you indirectly help other people. Of course, if you bring on more staff, your business grows. Just the number thing grows, right? The number of people you can help grows.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's doesn't surprise me, Sian, that you ever ended up in an industry that you ended up helping other people. I think it makes sense, right? Makes sense, and I think it's good. I think the world should have more people that like to help other people in it.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
It's nice to be nice.
It's nice to be nice, isn't it? Simple as that. Well, I think we're getting towards the pointy end of it. It's been a lovely time chatting to you. I've chatted to you hundreds of thousands of times before, but never in this regard.
No.
I'm going to ask you one final question, which you do know. I gave you some kind of a lure to it, what it might be earlier, but I'm going to catch you off guard with a little curveball here. Mm-hmm. For any of those people that are watching now, right now in August 2022, next year, 5-10 years time, it's on the internet, it's there forever, that want to get into permanent makeup artistry, the huge growing industry that it is, and it really is only just getting started in terms of its scale and journey. What advice would you give to them right now if they kind of want to get into it?
Just spend time researching, investing in the right people to train with. I have a lot of people that either clients who have been to the wrong people and ended up with something. They're like, can you help me and change it?
Right, okay.
Clients that end up spending more money because they haven't researched going to the right person for their treatments. And also people who are trying to train end up just going with the cheapest, easiest, closest person. But it's worth traveling for, it's worth researching, find the right person for you. And just give it your all, really. You know, be yourself, practice.
Yeah.
Very important.
How do you practice?
You can do latex skins, you can work on things like that. Yeah, just practice anything, hand movement, using different products.
Yeah.
Practice on other people.
Sage advice. Practicing on.
Yeah. Family members, friends.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. On places you can't say. No, that's good. I think that's sage advice for anyone that wants to get into it. So the final question.
Ooh.
If you guys have watched before, you might know what this is. And before we enter it, I'm just going to see if we've got any people asking questions over here. Malcolm Free, my brother, previous guest on the show. Good to have you here. We are good. Hope you are too. If you've got any questions, though, guys, you're watching and you've got to drop them in because we've probably got about a minute and a half to go. I'll give it an extra bit of time for any wonderful people that have questions. For Sian, not for me. Hunger for the Hustle is the title of this podcast. What drives your quite clear and evident hunger for the hustle, Sian Danielle?
My drive is time. So it isn't the money, it is the time. Life's too short. Why would I not want to be able to make time myself for my things? My family, my friends, my travelling.
Yeah.
So to work for myself enables me now to choose what holiday I would like, what annual leave I'd like if I want to see my grandparents, you know, finish a bit earlier one Friday to do that, or, you know, your life is yours. So that's what has given me the drive to do it, to choose when I would like to do things. You know, I don't think it's hard because, which is what obviously most people do with working, is you get given so many days of the year. And when I first started, I was such a social butterfly that, you know, I was getting invited to weddings, hen do's. Oh, do you fancy going abroad this way? So do you want to go on this holiday? Do you fancy going travelling here? And I was lucky enough when I'd started to be able to fit all my clients into the days that I worked, to be able to enable me to have time off and say yes to these things.
Yeah.
Be a yes person.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the best kind of person.
So that is what means the most to me.
It's
to have time.
It's all about time.
It is all about time.
Yeah, no, that's great. And creating your own, living on your own schedule. We talked about this the other day, and I saw you last week, like going, it would be impossible now to go back and work for somebody. It'd be, I mean, nothing's impossible. It'd be very difficult for me, and I think you agree, for you to go back to work for someone else. Just in terms of the annual leave thing, right?
Oh, yeah.
Someone basically telling you when you can and can't
have
some time off and go travel to X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I like to spend time with family and friends, and I think it's very important to do that. So to be able to have time, but I can't just go, I'm going to have next Tuesday off because clients are booked in. But if you just plan ahead, you know, you can have the time that you need to do things that you need.
Especially now you've got children, you know, those magical years, the younger years.
Yeah.
You will get to spend more time with them than I think it's fair to say if you if they were in you know, if you're working for someone else.
Yeah, definitely. It's very important.
Good podcast, my friend. Fantastic. Thank all of you guys as well for listening. Really appreciate you, as I always do. If you've enjoyed the podcast, give it a like, give it a subscribe, give it a follow, give it a share. Because as we talked about in this show, it's all about helping others, isn't it? And you might just share this to someone that gets some huge value. So appreciate that. Appreciate you. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay hungry, and keep on hustling, folks. Thanks very much, Sian. It's been great to have you here.
Thank you very much.
See you next time, everybody.